Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar on zAgileConnect for Salesforce and Jira integration. My name is Sanjeev Nath. I'm very excited today to be sharing with you a lot of cool and powerful capabilities that we've added to the product of late. It is a feature-packed demo, so let's get started. First, here's the agenda. I'll talk a little bit about zAgile and our products for customer support. Then I'll move on to focusing on the key goals of a support team, as well as the obstacles they face that we try to address through zAgileConnect and our other products that are directed for the support team. I'll briefly describe zAgileConnect, some of the core functionality, and then focus on the demo. And then I will turn it over to Andrew for the wrap-up. So about zAgile, zAgile was founded in 2006, and from the very beginning, our focus has been on bringing cross-functional teams together, integrating tools, processes, and knowledge so that they can work a lot more effectively. More specifically, we're focused on customer support and engineering. And the products that we have, the solution that we have put forth are plug-and-play integrations between Salesforce and leading applications and tools like Jira, Confluence, and Slack. And our customers, here's a very small representation of our customer base that crosses multiple industries. And we've got some of the largest customers in the world that are on our list, and we're very, very proud of it. So let's talk about, very briefly, just an intro on zAgile products for customer support. So we have zAgileConnect, which integrates Salesforce with Jira, and we'll be talking a lot about it today. We also have Knowledge Bridge, which allows you to create and curate content, rich content in Confluence, and then publish it to Salesforce knowledge articles that you can then share with your internal and external communities. We actually have a webinar coming up next week, November 16th, at the same time on Knowledge Bridge. And then we also have Chat Bridge, which integrates Salesforce with Slack. So that allows another mechanism for Salesforce teams, support, sales, marketing to basically collaborate with internal teams, whether it's engineering, product, etc. And so we will be doing a webinar on December 12th, focused on Chat Bridge. So let's start with support teams' goals. The key goals really are when a customer submits a ticket, support agent wants to turn it around in a timely manner. That is the expectations of customers, particularly as time goes on. When they submit tickets, they want responses very, very quickly. So the key goals that a support team tries to achieve are to meet or exceed SLA compliance and achieve customer satisfaction. Now, within the context of these goals, there are obstacles. Particularly as they are collaborating with engineering towards resolution of customer tickets, then you have two different applications that you have to go back and forth between Salesforce and Jira. There's a lot of tedious and laborious efforts involved in copying and pasting the same information. And more importantly, there's no visibility. When engineering resolves something, then it's very difficult to know in a timely manner that the issue has been addressed and their customers can be notified. This poor collaboration with engineering then causes unnecessary aging of cases that have already been addressed in engineering, or a lack of proper collaboration with engineering to escalate tickets for which customers are impatiently waiting. And also, obviously, there's a lack of reporting on the status of customer tickets. There's no way to know which accounts have what outstanding issues that are in engineering, how long they've been waiting or aging, and so on. So these are all the different obstacles that support teams face in trying to achieve their goals. And these are the ones that we have particularly focused on in addressing with zAgileConnect. So zAgileConnect is a plug-and-play application. It has two components. One is a Salesforce package that you install in Salesforce, and another is a Jira add-on. Both are available from their corresponding marketplaces. And zAgileConnect is primarily focused and designed for customer support teams. Now, how does it help? Well, there's a number of steps that are involved in addressing a customer ticket that needs to be resolved in engineering. How easy is it to escalate a ticket to engineering? How easy is it to collaborate with engineering towards investigation and towards the resolution? And then, of course, how the ways you can automate certain processes. For example, if a Jira ticket is closed, then is there a way to automatically notify a case owner so that they can ultimately communicate back to the customer as quickly as possible? And the key value that zAgileConnect brings, for support agents, it allows them to work efficiently. It allows them to easily track the status of cases that have been sent to engineering. It allows, and as I'll show you a little bit later, it allows for easy collaboration between support and engineering towards the resolution of these cases. So in the demo, we're going to focus on two different things here. One is the core features. This is really the core use cases or the common use cases that support teams need. For example, they want to be able to easily escalate a ticket to Jira. They want to be able to easily track the progress of that ticket in Jira. They want to maybe even search Jira to see if there's already something similar that other customers have reported, and they can maybe associate customer ticket with an existing issue and start tracking it. They want to know right away when those issues are updated within Jira, so they can both track its progress, but also be able to notify customers. And of course, there's a collaborative aspect of it, which is sharing comments and attachments between Salesforce and Jira, between a case and a Jira issue. And then I'll also point out a lot of advanced features that we've implemented in the product of late. For example, the many-to-many relationships between case and issue. I'll show you now the fact that now we have support for integrating a single Salesforce org with multiple Jira instances, and also the reverse of it, which is a single Jira instance to multiple Salesforce orgs. We also now support Jira Service Management. So basically being able to create service requests from Salesforce. This was as a result of a number of requests that we had gotten from our customers. You can create Salesforce objects from Jira, so you can create a case from a Jira issue if needed. You can also link a Jira issue to Salesforce objects, cases, and accounts, and so on from within Jira. And then, of course, we've also added some additional capability that allows you, or that enhances the ability for you to search in Jira for specific Salesforce fields. For example, issues related to an account or issues associated with a case and so on. So let's get started then. Let me just move to the demo. So I usually start here. And by the way, this demo is from our test drive version, which is also accessible to you from the App Exchange. So I start here with a case list view. And so this is, for example, open cases that are assigned to me as a support agent. So here you can start to see cases that have one or many Jira issues associated with them. So these icons represent the single or multiple Jira issues associated with a case. So this is what I had just reflected on earlier, where we support many-to-many relationships between a case and Jira issue. So for example, a customer may report something that requires you to open up multiple tickets or multiple issues within Jira. And conversely, it is also very possible that you could have a Jira issue that's associated with multiple cases because a number of customers have reported the same problem. In fact, we have actually seen instances where single issues associated with hundreds of cases. So here you can see those relationships right in a list view. Now let's start with a case. So I usually start here with this case. So let's say that I'm assigned as part of this flow, as part of this use case. Let's say that I'm assigned this case and I'm looking at the details to see what the customer is describing. So, unless I have a response for this, or unless I'm able to research this internally within Salesforce knowledge, I might actually want to take a look first within Jira to see if engineering is aware of something similar. So this subject is MongoDB's window installer. It's a problem related to the installer. So I can go into this tab where we have a number of Jira components that we provide as part of the package. And what you'll see right away, for example, is the search component. So a search component has taken the case subject here and performed the search to find issues within Jira that are similar to what the customer is describing. I can also define this search. I can make it broader. For example, I can just say, actually, I want to see what engineering is aware of in terms of MongoDB installer related issues. And you can see a lot of problems here that a lot of Jira issues that are associated with a similar problem. And you can take it further, for example, to take a look to see the details of any particular issue. So here I can bring the complete issue details within Salesforce. So again, the focus here is on support being able to accomplish what they need to do without having to go back and forth across applications. So now, as part of their investigation, they're I am bringing in full issue details within Salesforce to see if this is what my customer is reporting. So, and you can, for example, I can go to this issue to see if this is closer to what my customer is reporting. And here I can see, for example, the details, the issue description, for instance, and this seems like, yeah, this may be the same thing that engineering is working on. So not only do I have access to full detail, but I also can see what other Salesforce objects the issue is associated with. So you can see that there are 4 opportunities that are interested in the resolution of this issue, a custom object called product development request that's interested in this issue. And then there's already 6 cases. So these are the accounts that have reported a similar problem that engineering has consolidated or is working on through this issue. Okay, so I can see all of that information. And if I realize that this is actually also what my customer is reporting, then I can link this issue, SF test 416, to this case, 1068. And now I have established a connection between the two so that I can start tracking its progress. Okay, so now if I were to refresh this page next time around when I come to this case, you'll see in this tab the details of this issue that I've chosen to follow in the context of this case that are brought in here. Okay, and so I can see that it's the status is open. It hasn't been assigned yet. Not only that, so first I've shown you our search component, which automatically has performed the search and brought back related issues based on whatever my search criteria is. But I also have then linked this case to something that already exists, so I don't have to create a new issue, and I can start tracking it. But here in Jira activity component, you can also see, for example, what's happened to this issue recently. So this will give you the most recent information about this issue, but this will give you the most recent activity so that you can understand better, like, why is it open? Well, here it looks like, a week ago, we had unassigned this issue and we had stopped progress on it. So now if, for example, I might want to follow up with engineering to figure out what's happening and whether they expect to assign it, whether they expect to address it, whether it's in a patch or it's planned for a different release, so that I at least have something I can communicate to the customer in terms of setting expectation, okay? So this is all that's available to me as quickly as I need here, just in a few minutes. As I had been assigned this case, I was able to find something similar. I was able to link to it. I was able to figure out what's happened to it recently. And then if I want to communicate with engineering about its status to see when they expect to resolve it, I can send a comment to say, for example, I need to know, let's do this. Okay, so now I can just send a comment to this issue saying, please let us know when this fix is planned, because now I want to know, because I need to be able to tell something to my customer. Now, as you go into engineering, as you go into Jira, so here's the Jira's view of this issue. So this is what an engineer is looking at. And you can see, first of all, the associations. So in the Salesforce properties panel, you will see the opportunities that I had shown you earlier that are associated with this issue. You will see the cases, and actually there's now going to be 7 cases associated with them, because I established a relationship between this case and this issue. And then you will also see the custom object product development request. So all of the information related from each Salesforce object that this issue is associated with is provided here in a reference as a reference, as a read-only reference, because what we're not doing here, and I want to emphasize this, is we're not replicating data back and forth between Jira and Salesforce, because it's not necessary, and it's also not very manageable, because if you have so many objects associated with a Jira issue, it isn't so easy to copy information from all of these objects into the issue fields itself, right? So here, what we're done actually is to give you summary information from each object without impacting the issue itself. Now, not only do you have access to all of these objects, all of the reference fields here that are summary fields, that are much more designed for sort of a tabular layout, but you can also share additional details. So if I click on the case number, I have access to more information about this case. So as as an engineer, if I want to follow through on this and try to understand something more, like maybe I want to read the description of the case or the environment, as well as if I want to know what account is associated with the contacts, SLA, contracts, any information here that is deemed essential for the engineer or the engineering manager to review, so that they can prioritize the issue, they can investigate, they can come up with a resolution plan. So all of this is configurable, and all of this can be shared. So now you have a lot of details about each case that you can share with engineering. And all I've done from Salesforce is link this case to the issue. And so all of this automatically is available within Jira, okay? Now, beyond that, you can also enable these tabs. So oftentimes, it's actually helpful for engineers to have access to case comments or emails and feeds, because it really depends. I mean, they might want to see firsthand what the customer is describing. They might want to, for example, be able to see what recent exchanges have occurred between support engineer and whomever was working on this issue before. So all of this is available to you, as well as attachments. So all attachments associated with this case are available here. again, notice that we did not have to copy all of these attachments into the Jira issue. They're just available if needed, so that they're not cluttering up the Jira issue directly. So that's the first part, is that the case context is available, additional information is available, that includes comments, attachments, etc. Now you'll also see, for example, the comment that I had just sent from Jira, from Salesforce, so from that case. So here I had actually posted a comment that says, please let us know when this fix is planned. And it came from this case, and this is a user that was logged in, right? So this is kind of the collaborative aspect of it, because I've posted a comment here. It's also then, if I want to, as an engineer working on this issue, I can click on this icon and send a comment back to this case, or as well as all other cases. So it's up to me. If I, for example, resolve this issue, or if we decide that we plan this issue to be resolved in a particular maintenance patch, then I might want to send that comment to all related cases, so that all case owners are aware what to expect in terms of its resolution. Okay. So that's one aspect of this. Now let's go, complete the loop. So as the issue starts to, for example, as we start progress on this issue and it gets assigned, then you would expect that you will know within the context of that case and any other case or Salesforce object what's happened. So here you can see this issue. You can see, for example, that it's now been assigned, and you can see the status is in progress, and you'll also see that in activity here. So a few seconds ago, somebody started progress on it. So any activity that's occurred related to this issue is available in Jira activity, okay? So that completes one aspect of this loop, which is basically me being able to search and find something that already exists, and Jiring's working on it. I can then go and collaborate with them. I can ask questions about it. I can link to it, and I can start tracking its progress, so that I know what to expect and what to communicate to my customer. Now, you may, for example, want to also just create a new issue. So, here we have, in this particular component, not only do we give you access to whatever information related to a Jira issue that you've chosen to share with support, or whatever fields that are configured that support needs to be able to see, but you can also create a new issue. Now here, we have two different options. So one of the other things that I had mentioned earlier is that we now also support Jira Service Management. So you can either create a Jira issue, which is basically a Jira software issue, or you can create a request. So it really depends on the use case here, what a support agent wants to do, but you have option for both. Because the Jira that we have configured for this demo has also Jira Service Management installed and configured, so we have option to do either one. So if I choose Jira Service Management, then it will give me the options to create a service request. And so here I'll have access to service desk that are available, as well as the request type, for example, whether it's a system problem or installation support help. So I can either create a service request, or I can create a Jira issue in Jira software. So here, for example, you'll see the same thing. These are all the different projects that are available for me to create an issue in. And for each project, I can select issue type. And as you can see, that as I'm moving across different projects and issue types here, checking my options, we are automatically populating some of the fields that have been pre-mapped from case to issue to make it easier to create the issues. So case subject has been copied into issue summary, case description has been copied into issue description, and so on. So all of this is pre-populated, but also I have options to add additional information if I want, as well as upload files as I'm creating a Jira issue. But it can be as simple as this to create a Jira issue associated with this case. So now you can see, for example, this case has 2 issues in 2 different projects that have been created. So this is, again, is the example of, the many-to-many relationship. So you've seen already a Jira issue that has multiple Salesforce objects associated with it. And now you can see also a case that has multiple Jira issues associated with it. And when you go to that particular issue in Jira, you will see the corresponding case reference as you've seen earlier. So this was just created. So you can see all of the fields that have been populated. You can also see, for example, the case reference available here, and as you would expect, all the additional details, attachments, and so on. So this is as simple as just being able to create the issue, and support can then start tracking its progress as it gets assigned. And you will see, for example, here, the status of that issue reflected pretty much in real time within the context of this case, okay? So this is one sort of a set of flows that I wanted to share with you. Now, also, while we are at it, we can also look at some of the other tabs. For example, now you see 2 tabs here. So what we've done is we've separated these components, these Lightning Web components, into tabs, because this Salesforce org is actually connected to 2 different Jira instances, one cloud and one on-prem. So this is also part of what I had alluded to earlier, that zAgileConnect supports integration between a single Salesforce org and multiple Jira instances. And that actually is useful in a lot of organizations where you have engineering teams that are using their own Jira instances. So now you can, for example, support team can reach different Jira instances depending upon products or projects or customers, however the mapping is done. So they can go and create issues in different Jiras depending upon whatever the internal criteria is. So here, this is the on-prem Jira. The behavior is going to be the same. There's a search component, there's a related Jira component if I want to create a new issue within that Jira. And then I can also have an activity component that points to that Jira. So each Lightning Web component here that you're looking at is specific to a Jira. And that allows you not only to have them available to support agent, but you can also, depending upon how your teams are segregated, you can make these components available specifically to teams. So one team can create, for example, issues or interact with Cloud Jira 1. Another team can interact with Cloud Jira 2, depending upon what they need to accomplish. So this is an example. And just to kind of elaborate on this a little bit, what I want to show you here is that in the package configuration, the thing you'll see right away is the connections. So each Jira has its own configuration. So if I click on configure for the managed package, you will see, for example, 2 different Jiras. Each one has an alias, connection ID, and each one has its own configuration. So each Jira can behave differently within Salesforce itself. Depends on what you want to share with it, what you want to retrieve from it, because it is likely that you could have separate teams, each team working with its own Jira, or you could have teams that are working with different Jiras depending upon a particular case that is submitted to them. So that's the single Salesforce to multi-Jira integration. Now, let's go to a different example here. So I'm going to come to this issue here. This is on-prem. This is Jira Server. We also, by the way, I want to point out, zAgileConnect supports Jira Cloud, Jira Server, and Jira Data Center. So in this example, just for the sake of the demo, we actually have Jira Cloud and Jira Server. So you can see that regardless of the type of Jira, the behavior is the same. It's a single package that supports integration between the two, and so the functionality is very similar, regardless of whether the Jira is hosted by Atlassian or whether it's hosted on-prem. So now let's go to this Jira. This is on-prem Jira, and there's a couple of things to show you here. So you can see, for example, in Salesforce properties. So when we were back here in the Jira Cloud demo, in the Salesforce properties, for example, you just see a single Salesforce properties, and then you see all of the objects that are associated with this issue from this Salesforce org. But you can also connect a single Jira instance to multiple Salesforce orgs. So here is an example of a Jira instance, which is this one here. It's an on-prem instance. It's actually connected to two different Salesforce org, SF1 and SF2. And it actually has issues. It has cases linked to it from each org. So SF1, it has a case, and the fields that are associated with this case, or the fields that are shared from this case, and SF2. So you can see that these fields are different because it's possible that each org may want to share specific information about the case with the Jira issue. So they both work independently, but they both can be integrated with a single Jira issue here. And again, looking at in terms of configurability, you'll see, for example, when you're trying to connect, or when you're wanting to connect a single Jira instance with multiple Salesforce orgs, you will be establishing connections with each one. And as you do that, then all of the configuration from each Salesforce org is available within Jira independent of the other. Okay, so here you've got two different orgs connected to this Jira issue, and you can see a case from each one. So that's the other scenario of one Jira to many Salesforce orgs. Now, some of the other capabilities that we've added recently in the product are related to actions you can take from Jira. So for example, you can now actually create Salesforce objects from Jira. So we've had requests for this from customers, and we implemented that recently. So it's possible in some scenarios where if there is already an engineering issue associated with, that has been reported or engineering is working on it, but engineering can, for example, create a case. So you can configure any Salesforce object. It really depends upon your use case. So you can create a case or an account or whatever, depending upon your requirements. But here in this example, we're creating a case, and then you can provide case status. So these pick list values are being brought in from Salesforce. Same thing with contacts. So for example, we might, you can do a search in Salesforce. So this will be as if you were in Salesforce, but you're actually doing this from Jira. And as you create a case in Salesforce from Jira, you will see, for example, the case is created right here. And also the information is brought in from that case, and a formal link has been established. So here, this is a case that we just created, and this information, because it's new and whatever is available in terms of contacts, etc., the default values have been brought in. So here's the information about the case. And now if you were to go to the Salesforce org, you will see the corresponding Jira issue from where we came, from where this case was created. So that information is available right here. So this is essentially interacting or creating, taking Salesforce actions from Jira. And finally, so the other thing I also want to point out, what we have spent quite a bit of effort in enhancing is the capability of searching. So, one of the things customers have been asking for is the ability to, because these are reference fields and they're not part of the issue, they still wanted to be able to search on these fields so that they can do a search within Jira for issues associated with a particular account or case or so on. So there's two capabilities available here. One is just the count. So let's see, somewhere here we have.
It's on the right below reporters.
Oh yeah, right here. So thanks, JP. So we have Salesforce links. So this was an easy one where we actually give you a full account of number of Salesforce objects associated with this issue. So this is easy because you can then do a sort on Jira issues that have the most number of cases, because maybe that's the way you want to prioritize it, or at least it helps you prioritize. So because that would represent cases that have the most customers that are waiting, right? So here, for example, we have a case that has 12 different objects associated with it. So we've got this count. So this count is automatically updated depending upon the relationships that are created between this issue and other Salesforce objects. Now, in addition to that, there's also the search where you can actually start to use JQL to perform some search here. For example, so here, if you type in SF, we have all these case fields available to you. So account name, for example, JP, you might have to.
Oh, the second one is fine, yeah.
So here I will say in, and oh yeah, okay, there you go. So this autocomplete will allow me to find all the issues that are associated with this account, Burlington Textiles. All right, so here I can sort of filter because I want to take a look at the account level, how many issues are outstanding and what is the status and so on. So this is available in Jira now, and there's a number of different ways you can perform these searches. So this is also, that was something that customers have been asking for some time. So we spent some effort in implementing. And then finally, what has always been there, but I think is still important to point out, is reporting in Salesforce. So this is, again, fairly easy because the Jira information is available in Salesforce natively, which means that you can create reports. So here you have a bunch of different report types depending upon the object. So whether you have Jira associated with case or opportunity or idea or PDR, whatever object that you've integrated. So here we can say, let's just look for all the issues associated with a case. And here you can select, for example, different fields like account name and stuff, as well as issue status and priority, right? So if you're creating reports here, then I can select a bunch of different issue fields as well as account, and I can run a report. And now I'll have a report that gives me, report by account, by case number. So for example, here, for this case, you can see how many issues are associated with this case, case 1000, and what is the status of each one. Or for example, you can do a report by issues. So here's this issue that has these two cases from this account, and here's the status. So this reporting is also very valuable because you're wanting to, at the account level, manage the expectations of customers depending upon, and also look to see the health of an account depending upon how many issues they have raised and how engineering has responded to them, as well as support. So. Okay, so I think I have covered a lot of different features and capabilities. So now I'm gonna just turn this over to you, Andrew, for wrap up.
All right, great. Great job, Sanjeev. So let me see if I can share my slides now. All right, so I'm going to wrap up here, just a couple slides. You can see it okay, Sanjeev?
Yep.
Okay, great. So now just covering the licensing and pricing. So how much does it work and how does the licensing how does the licensing work? So the zAgileConnect users are really based upon those people who need to use Salesforce or Jira functionality within Salesforce and to access Salesforce information, excuse me, the Jira information within Salesforce. So it's just only those users. We're not counting all Salesforce users. We're not counting all Jira users. It's only those Jira users and Salesforce users who need to see the Jira information within Salesforce. The pricing starts at $4,200 per year for 10 licenses. So a license is a seat, one user. So we only offer annual subscriptions. And the Jira add-ons available, as Sanjeev mentioned and showed in the demo, Jira Server or Jira Cloud are included. And then Jira Data Center would require an additional license price and add-on. Of course, that's just the starting price, $4,200 for 10 users. We do have tiered licensing discounts. So in other words, if you get into a tier of 50 to 100 or 100 to 150 and so on, there will be incremental discounts that increase along the way for you. So in summary, remember, zAgileConnect is purpose-built as a Salesforce-oriented product for customer support. So it's specifically designed for customer support teams. It has the add-ons both for Jira and Salesforce, specifically designed for customer support use cases. It's extremely mature. It's been out there for many, many years. It's pure plug-and-play integration, installs in less than an hour, and is very feature-rich right out of the box, real-time, scalable, and secure. And by the way, I'd like to mention that we do have a white paper that details all of the differences between your different approaches out there. So big differences with respect to your main options really are kind of these free or maybe open source type tool sets that are not super feature rich, requires lots of customization, extremely brittle. And then you have your standard integration platforms, which are of course expensive to start, and you still have to do a lot of programming to get the functionality, and still the functionality is not as full-fledged, feature-rich as what was shown in this demo. So zAgileConnect is #1 on Salesforce App Exchange. So I invite you to check out the App Exchange and check out the reviews associated, both with respect to the product and the support. As Sanjeev mentioned, it's free to try for 30 days. You can ask us questions at sales@zagile.com.